are live. We're back.
Yes, sir.
And Chad told me his last name, and I forgot it real fast. Hang on, everybody. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Don't tell me, Chad.
I got you.
Wait, my first name is your middle name?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Okay, now we're gonna start from right here. Okay, we are live, everybody. I think that's recording out there. Hang on, dude. This is live. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. We are Momo, stay in here. Okay, folks, we are live. My God, this time for real. I think we're recording over here. Sure are. Chad, it's on right now. You know what's happening. Okay, folks, we are live for another episode of Laying It Down with Big D. And Big D's had a little coffee this morning, so I'm kind of all over the place. But yeah, today I'm joined by one of North America's up and coming IGLs. He plays currently for Take Flight, has been for I think about roughly a year now.
Yep.
Which is a heinously long time in esport. Heinous is the wrong word. A crazy long time in esports. But I've got Chad Crisp Bredeson here with me. How are we doing today, Chad?
Doing good, man. Doing great.
That you love to hear. All right, well, it's Saturday morning. This will release on Monday for the people to enjoy. It's Monday morning wherever you are listening to this, or maybe it's not. These are timeless. It could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Regardless, though, or Sunday even maybe. Let's talk about you, Chad. That's what we're here to talk about, and we're gonna go back in time for a moment. What are your earliest memories of gaming, and how did they lead you to Counter-Strike?
Try to make it quick because it's definitely long. But both my parents, they weren't like crazy gamers. They'd play on like the Cube, so like Tetris, maybe Mario Kart back in the day. So my brother and I, when we were able to start playing games, I think the first good one was like Guitar Hero. And we would, bro,
Yes.
we'd get up at like 4 in the morning before, elementary or whatever, and just in the living room, just ripping it up. And our parents are sleeping, they have no idea. We're trying to keep the volume down enough so we're not waking them up. And, lately after that, Xbox came out, Call of Duty came out. So I know you just did one on Jared, actually. We kind of have very, very similar stories to that. Played a bunch of, just console games and whatnot, and then got like laptops and had the older brothers. So my older brother Alex, he got a laptop from our dad and was just playing like, random games, whatnot, Roblox, and eventually that led to like Steam and Gary's Mod, and then Minecraft, of course. Started playing DayZ, Arma, and whatnot. I'll talk about him in a little bit.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, he's a beast.
is that a cat?
Oh, that is a cat. Yeah, that is the man himself. Actually, he owns this house.
That's a cat? I thought it was a dog at first, dude. That thing's
Yeah,
huge.
he's Maine Coon. He's definitely a giant. He's probably like 25, 30 pounds, and he's like not even fat. Like he's lean.
Holy
Yeah,
cow, dude.
I let him outside
What a
because
beast.
nothing's gonna mess with him. But um, yeah, eventually started playing like the Halo COD and whatnot. And after I got a computer, Go came out, and my brother showed me that. And I had such a bad laptop at the time that when I started playing like competitive, it would overheat and shut down. And by the time I could turn it back on and load back in, I'd have a 7-day ban. So I played CS, and it was a fun game, and my brother and his friends would play, and just the natural story of, oh, I wanted to be better than my brother and get better at it. It wasn't
Chad has watched
until
some episodes, clearly.
it wasn't until I think 2013 that I bought my first desktop. For those PC spec guys, it was like $300. I had like an i3 2120U like dog processor, and it had a GTX 650, I think, was like the first specs in that. Um, and once I got that, my dad found me like just an OG box monitor. It was like a 75 hertz box, and I was a demon. Like the second I actually had good frames, my computer's not shutting down, and I had like upgrade on hertz as well. I was an absolute demon. But I didn't play Face It for a long, long time. I think I hit like Supreme on matchmaking or whatever, and I still at this point was just playing for fun. Haven't heard about Face It, haven't heard about ESEA. Um, and then my brother said, "Oh, Face It, Face It." I'm like, "Okay." Joined it, got like level 8 or whatever, and by that time I was already in high school, and I dropped it. I think I was playing like basketball, and I think by the time I was in 10th grade, I think I just put it down because school and friends and whatnot. So I put it down, but I didn't put it down. I would get on at night and play like retake servers just for fun, to stay sharp or whatever. So I'd play retake servers like nonstop, and from there I pretty much wasn't playing CS at all throughout the rest of high school. And when I graduated and went to college in 2019, um, I had a lot of free time on my hands besides school and having a part-time job there. So I was like, all right, let's play some CS, and I'll do a little shout out. I started pugging on ESEA because that's where the spot was at the time, and
Shout
got
out ESEA.
got my first rank as like A minus or something, which I thought was crazy high as like a beginner rank on that. And so after a couple pugs, I met this guy, Control CS, good old Jimmy Chef nowadays. Yep.
Oh, also laying it down with the Big D alumni.
Yep. So I played against him and just like clapped him up, and he instantly added me and was like, "Hey man, we should pug." So after like a couple more games, he was like, "Yo, you should play League with me." And throughout the whole course of me playing CS, I loved watching Tier 1 CS. Like who I am now as an opper is a combination of JW, Kenny S, and those type of players. Movement players, quick scope, no scope, like combat op type deal. So when he asked me to play League,
The
I'm like,
exciting oppers.
yeah, I'm like, I don't. What is this League? Like, I never heard of this over all the years. Like, I've never been, inclined to want to do that. So, yeah, I joined his team, and he had just an open squad at the time, I believe, and there's a few players that even Take Flight had, like JPP. He was on that squad way back then.
Oh shit.
So yeah, started there in college in 2019, and at that time it was like I made those friends to play League with, so I just continued that. I think after my first season of Open, I had like 100 plus ADR or whatever, and I got advanced offers out the gate, like out the gate. And me, college with a job, with a girlfriend living in an apartment, I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna play advanced. Like advanced seems super high at the time. Like, oh, I'd have to practice, I'd have to put in time, and I just didn't have that time for it. Um, so I just played just for fun with friends, and we didn't really do too many practices up until we hit like IM or whatever, and was trying to hit main through playoffs, and then we'd started like doing a bit of offline work and whatnot. Um, yeah, but I always kept it on the friend level of teams. I wasn't like selfishly trying to stat farm and like jump to the next jump. I was pretty much just playing for fun. And then COVID. When
Yeah.
COVID happened in my first year of college, the school shut down, everything was online, and it was like everyone had so much time on their hands. Um, so started playing with a bit of intent to try to climb after that point, and did some roster changes, jumped around, and eventually, tried making my own team that I could, bring up into advanced or whatnot on my own. And I think it was the last season of League before CS2 dropped that I went 12 or no, it wasn't 12 and 0. Okay, well we made playoffs in main and then made advance that season. And then a good old classic NA mutiny session happened where the team just exploded into neurons and then was never heard about again. So left that team, joined a different main team with my buddy Huncho, who's on Take Flight right now.
King George,
Yes,
baby.
sir. And
You're up next.
yeah, and we carried that team pretty smoothly into advanced. It was CS2, so it was pretty new for everyone. But yeah, we just pretty much dominated, took that team to advanced again. But the teammates that we were with that we got to advanced, they weren't necessarily advanced worthy in our eyes. So we weren't really inclined to want to try to make that work. So we bounced, and an old friend of mine hit me up and said, "Hey, we're struggling in Maine and we need some guidance. We want to like try to go to advance." So I joined that team as their opper, but was also like the most experienced player. So I did like that was like my first kind of like op IGL season, and we went 12-0 in the regular season on Maine, and then went to playoffs and got third place. Got into advanced again, and that was when I finally had like my own team. That was Kings of the North at that time. So finally made advanced, had like my own team, and kind of like actually built some structure, so it was worth sticking around and trying to see what we could make out of it. Um, so then we, looked for some upgrades because we had some stragglers that were obviously could find an upgrade for. And so right away we found Two Panic. Like off the bat, found Two Panic. He was an experienced player, played several seasons of advanced, and we picked him up,
Big
and
Ben.
yeah, and it was an instant upgrade. And from there it only took us, you know, a season or two, and first season advanced we made playoffs, but it took us just a couple seasons to be that consistent advanced playoff team that was, like in the running to go ECL at some point. So over time, we eventually got some upgrades, and Ben, who was friends with Simon Sharpie, picked him up, and
Another
yep, yep,
laying it down with I'm getting every single one of you guys on laying it down eventually. That's the goal.
yep. But we
Go on.
we finally forged the roster, and it was very shortly after we forged that roster because Simon was friends with a bunch of the Take Flight guys. Um, that he got us a deal with them to be their academy team. So we went from Kings of the North to Take Flight Kings. Because we couldn't be Take Flight Academy because at the time the Take Flight main roster in ECL was in the middle of getting relegated back to Advance, so you couldn't have two teams under the same name or whatever in the same division. So right when we were like Take Flight Kings, that is when the Kansas City LAN happened. Very shortly after that, and we went there and we had two subs for that LAN. It was tough. Ben had passport issues, and then we had JPP on the squad as our fifth at the time, so we had Orbit and JPP sub for that LAN, and we still did good. We made playoffs, and I believe we got HLTV at that LAN, and it
You
was
guys did almost. I think the main team only made it one round past you guys.
yep,
Like
yep. We
you guys
almost
did
we
almost
almost
as well as the main
2-0'd
team.
Party Astronauts at that LAN with two
I
substitutes.
remember.
Yeah, it was a crazy LAN, but I think that LAN, most importantly, and I've been to LANs before, but it was with my friend teams. I went to a Chicago, a New Brunswick, and I think I went to a Philly LAN as well, with just main teams, and we were just getting stomped out mainly by Timberman and all those guys. But yeah, that Kansas LAN, even with subs, is when I realized I realized my potential because I was performing like a maniac at that LAN, but just the kind of skill that this region is at right now. Because that was the big event, like the only teams that was out of pocket that showed up was like Sharks. Um, so I realized very quickly, like, man, if I showed up with a full squad, well practiced, we could have easily whacked some of these teams and, finished top four at this event. So it was really from that point that I realized, okay, this is worth putting some work in and trying to make the best roster possible because we really are just a hop skip away from being at the top of the scene. So yeah, that is the long spiel of gaming into Counter-Strike pretty much.
And almost all the way up to ECL, at least up to you brought it up to where I met you. That's
Yep.
where I met you, was at the Kansas City
Yep.
LAN. I got to stay with you guys in the Take Flight house, and that was my first LAN. And I remember just being like it's been 10 months now since that, or 11 months now since that time, and like I've been to multiple lands, and I've kind of gotten over like being starstruck by like the big names in the scene,
Yeah.
and I realized that we all just love Counter-Strike and we can
Hmm.
all just talk Counter-Strike, right? But I remember being at that house and being in the house with this top advanced team and an ECL team, and we're watching the major, and we're just at the, like, I'm getting
It's a
goosebumps
good
thinking
time.
about how cool it
Yeah.
was, right? Like it was, LAN is such an amazing experience, especially I have to imagine for somebody like what you said there, where you felt like you were there with a practice team, and you've gotten to go to several this year as well. You guys did not go to Vegas, right? You guys were not in
I
Vegas.
my kid was born like the week of Vegas. So I had to pull out of that one.
Yeah, that would not have been able
Yeah.
to happen. This here's my cat, by the way.
Momo.
He's got, yeah, Momo's got to be involved with everything. Um, Momo. Um, but so I know that there. I want to ask you about the like idea of finding when you like have to find new players, like what is that process like? Not like what specifically happened, but like what is the process like for when you have to identify that a player can't be kept on a team and you have to find a new one? Like what is, because I know it's hard, especially when you play with a lot of these guys for like a long time.
Yeah.
How do you guys like come to that decision, and like what's the process like for finding somebody to replace that is going to work out for you guys?
Well, the main the main thing is this is a game that's been around for such a long time. Like I've played it for 13 years at this point, but I've only played
Right.
for roughly 2 years like actually trying to see if I could go somewhere with it. So when you get to know like teammates and players, you obviously are able to spectate them, but you're also able to talk to them and see how they think as a player. Um, there's a lot of departments within CS that you can adjust and do quick fixes, but there's a lot of tendencies that are just kind of built into each player as how they maneuver in the game. And sometimes those things are the hardest to fix, the way that someone thinks about the game. You can't necessarily change how they would act in a certain scenario because they might think a complete different way than what is proper. So when you're struggling in certain departments, whether it's T side, CT side, site holds, the openings, you can kind of find what is the weak link and what is the change or the role swap that would really get things moving. But yeah, the side of finding a new player after you've identified that you need to find a new player, that's what's tough because NA is just a trash can of just recycling the same players over and over
We'll
again.
call it a recycling bin.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name names, but like it's just the same group of players just getting interswapped. There's no, oh, this guy's brand new, never heard of him. He's freaking insane, and you try him out, and he's exactly what you need. Like that just doesn't happen. Because this is
Right.
such a veteran-based game of time. Like people aren't picking up this game in 2020, 2021, and now at this point they're just a goat. Like most of the players that you're finding, they've been playing the game for 5+ years. Like at least 5+ years. It's very rare that you find someone like Molidoy that's been playing for 2 years and is just an absolute demon and he just understands the game. It's very rare for that because this is a game of depth and there's so much history behind it. So when someone like me that have seen all of the steps throughout the course of time, it's easy for me to understand all aspects of the game, but someone that is newer or less experienced, it does take them a while to reach that level. So yeah, it like when you're finding a new player, it just comes down to connections, and that kind of is what sucks about NA is if you aren't on Twitter, if you don't have a good following base, if you're not friends and connected with all of these people, your chances of just skyrocketing up onto a team are slim to none. The only way you can do that is either you're an individual on your team and you just stat farm like crazy, drop some insane numbers that would get you noticed, or you have to go on Face It nowadays and grind your way to FPL. And even then, which I will bag on FPL, you'll go into FPL and play with just some of the most slimy players that have zero respect for you, because if they don't know you, they haven't heard of you, you don't have following, you don't have connections, they just don't respect you. They don't know you as a player, and they're just instantly going to out ego you in some departments. So yeah, the process of like finding and upgrading and trying to like craft a good team is so hard in this region. It truly is, and it forces you to focus on it, is the friends. You have to make those friends and connections and just try to build off of that, because it is almost impossible without an org, I'll say, because Take Flight has an org. Like, if we've ever needed a player, look for a player, like they're just listing them off like produce. Like they're just saying like, oh, this guy's on the market, this guy's on the market. But if you don't have that, you're just going off of your connections. Because I'm not gonna go reach out to Stanislaw on social media and hope that he responds to see if he'd want to do something, right? Just as an example, because he's gonna look at me and go, "Who is this guy, Mink?" And he's just like, right. So yeah, the whole crafting, it's what people talked about. It's like, oh, NA teams, they don't stick together to try to build something. It's like, well, it's hard to stick together because you're not always going to find that perfect combination of players that you know is what works. There's almost always going to be like, oh man, if we upgraded this guy, we'd have a team. But then you go, who are we going to replace him with? There's really no one. So it kind of sucks. I wish.
No cries.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about No Cries. I mean, I pugged him the other day and I smacked him like 13-8 on Ancient. So I
Did
mean,
you?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've watched the guy's stuff, and he has some wild stuff and consistently wild stuff, but I have yet to see anything that makes me go, "Oh, he is cheating." And more than anything, I just don't think our region actually knows how to handle a player that
well,
does know really how to play Counter-Strike.
I'll say this from just my experience: having someone brand new to the game, less than 600 matches played, fresh account, and he just
Yes,
climbs his way to number one in a few months. It's very suspect. And at the end of the day,
highly suspect.
there's all these demos and whatnot, showing the pop of how he plays. And I just have one example from just the pug I played him in that tells me he's not, for one, he's not blatantly cheating. But if he were to be cheating, he's closeting as much as he possibly can to not be
He's
exposed.
really, really, really good at
Yeah,
covering it up. That's the other
yeah,
thing. He could just be really good at covering up the
exactly.
fact that he
There was
cheats.
this one round on that game. We were playing on Ancient. We're on T side. The bomb's down on B. No Cries comes up shelf and comes down banana to try to flank ramp, and I'm indoor. I hear him coming down towards bucket, and I swing door to try to clothesline him, and he cleared bucket. So I see this guy clear. It is no one bucket. So this guy's coming down. If he were walling whatnot, he knows that I'm door, like ready to swing on him. He turns 90 degrees and clears bucket. I swing to shoot him, and he snaps and insta headshots me. In my mind, I'm like, okay, if he was cheating, he would have just swung me and, fought me. But he did clear that angle for whatever reason, and then just low key aimbotted the hell out of me on that angle.
And then
Yeah,
dominated
and I'm
you.
like, to be fair, I shot, missed the first bullet, and he reacted. So yeah, that's my only example or interaction with him that was like, clearly he's not like blatantly cheating. So I do understand why all these demos and videos are coming out and they're like, well, he's clearly not blatantly cheating. He just has insane aim. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's first bullet headshotting everyone that enters his domain.
Right,
But he's a
right,
brand new
right.
player that has only played the game for a few months. So I don't know. Time will tell with that whole no cries situation on whether he's
I
cheating or not.
I agree. I think that I hope to see him at LAN. I hope he's not cheating. I think the most suspect thing that I have seen out and I asked him to come on laying it down with Big D. By the way, he responded and he wasn't too sure about it, but he's been doing other interviews, so you can see him
Yeah.
interview people, get interviewed. But like and normally I don't like talk about whatever's happening drama wise, but like the thing is this is not just like an everyday occurrence. If this guy is legit, the greatest Counter-Strike player in the world might be living in North America
That's what's
and
funny.
pugging on our
Yeah,
servers, right?
that's what's funny.
Like that is a crazy story, and that's not just some random gossip of today. However, the one thing that I saw when watching Austin's video about like where he was going through his demo and talking about it, I watched the first like 15 minutes. I still need to finish that video, but like there was two different times where he had like an insane reaction to like somebody like to seeing somebody way away from his crosshair, and he like drags his crosshair over, and he has a micro adjustment where he like swings past the person and then comes back up to the head. And this is where it's weird for me, is on both of those instances with the micro adjustment, it's like the exact same pattern of like moving the crosshair down to the left slightly, just like slightly past them, and then snapping right back up to the head. And I'm like, that is weird to me because I know for a fact these aimbots and trigger bots
Trigger
can
bots.
be programmed
Yep.
to look
Yep.
more natural and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And you can program them to fine tune all of this stuff.
Yep.
Like, cheat developers get off on what they are. These people are fucking geniuses, frankly,
Yeah.
and artists with what they're able to do. But it's just unfortunate they choose to do it for heinous and shitty, selfish reasons, right? Like, I kind of just wish we'd go ahead and make a HVH tournament out there and let them shine in their own arena. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Appreciate you sharing all that about I didn't mean to sidetrack us
No,
there.
that's fine. It's a
Um
part of the culture nowadays.
part of the vibe.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask about the FPL experience. You kind of started to touch up on that because you were you in FPL before you hit ECL, or have you been getting to play FPL this year
Um,
since hitting ECL?
they still haven't sent out FPL invites to any of us that have made ECL in season 53. So yeah, I've just made it off of my own elo. I think I'm like top 35 or something on the Face It rankings in the country. So I think I've gotten into FPL like 3 times off of elo in the last couple months. But I once again playing League, having a job, having a wife and kid. I don't play it too often. I think I've probably played like 5 games of FPL in the last couple months. But the FPL, I just wish it felt better. I wish that the environment, I guess, I'm not saying it's horrible, but it's not anywhere near what players would hope it would be, like wanting to reach that point. Um, it's just, oh man, it's just a bunch of the same players. It's just a bunch of the same players. If you remember like the old Akimbo roster, like Laxi, Obi, Cameron, N2O, like it, if you play an FPL game, you've got 3 on one team and 2 on the other. Like it's just the whole squad spread, and then there's a couple fillers in there in between, and then there's some, impact players playing as well. It's just the quality that you'd expect playing an FPL is so bad. It is so bad. Like, I don't know. 60,
It's still an NA pug at
it's
the end of the
still,
day.
yeah, it's still an NA pug, man. I mean, I had 60 on my team in the last FPL game, and he was like hard IGLing, and we just curbed him. Like, it was like a 13-2 scoreline because someone tried to IGL, we listened, and we just whomped them. Whereas them on the other team, they're probably just full on pugging, like not really caring too
And
much.
raging at each other from
Probably,
the
yeah.
second round.
But I just wish it was more, just like back to that role model thing. Like on the Face It website, it literally naturally live stream Go TV on the FPL. Like it's showing our matches, and sometimes I see there's like 10K, 15K people watching these like random FPL games, and these FPL games are just people just ego swinging everything. It's like there's no actual class to it in the form of high level CS that you'd want to see when you play FPL. But at the same time, like even back in the day on like Rank S, people were still pugging. Like
Right,
Even
go
back
back and
then.
watch Tarek or
Yeah,
Stewie videos.
exactly.
They were pugging,
Yeah.
but there was a lot. I remember those days, and like there was still like what like it was engaging to watch FPL because they were while they were pugging, they were playing the fucking game. Like they were doing wacky zany shit. I don't know how many times
Yeah.
I'd watch Tarek with a scout and a P250 just mop the floor with people because he's asking for flashes and still like making comms and
Yeah.
call outs,
Yeah.
right? There's a difference between I'm loading up the game to play because I don't know what else to do with my life, and now I'm angry that I'm here and I don't actually want to be here, and pugging and not like sticking to the strat book, but just having fun still, right?
Right.
Like there's a massive difference between those two things, and yeah, it's never been about like playing structured high level CS, but like you do expect the people there to be playing flawless basics at the very
Right.
least, right?
Right.
And that's always weird to see. Well, let me ask you this question about the role models because this is something Nate brought up the other day on the show, and I've talked to other people about it at LAN, and you mentioned it after watching the episode the other day online. What what do we do to get role model? How do we get better role models out there?
Well, that's a tough one because
What is
the
a good role model?
a good role model to me is a player in the scene that's at the top level, either top of advanced or ECL or, I'd say all the tier one guys, they lack the drive to want to inspire. And that's something I've noticed compared to back in the day. It's like these tier one players, anyone on NRG, M80, they are all sticking to themselves, focusing on themselves and moving forward. They're not putting a lick of energy back to the community, which is something that I noticed back in the day watching Rank S, that no matter what, even if they're pugging on FPL, all of them are streaming, all of them are making content for NA. Like for the people that are watching that strive to improve to reach that point at some point, they are making themselves look like a bunch of pros that would make you want to be them one day. And
Right.
when you watch like FPL now and people streaming, it really is just a mauled fest. It really is just a mauled fest. Like like there's no complimenting, there's no like, oh, that was a sick shot. There's no banter in the chat on any formulation of compliments. It is pretty much smack talking and ego checking. Like that's all it is in like the higher ups of like FPL and whatnot. So I would say like for role models, we just need players that for one are just nice people and aren't using and abusing the internet to just shit talk or bag on each other or have a different look. Like we just need players that are good at the game, understand the game, and want to make the community and the region that they're in better. And that's just what I'm not feeling coming from anyone, really. You just don't see it. You don't see people on Twitter trying to make posts that would somehow open up a discussion that would improve the scene. It's mainly trash talk. So I don't know. When it comes to role models, it's hard because when it comes to getting new role models, that's almost impossible because the people that are in FPL are the same people that have been in FPL. There's no new people that are getting in FPL, like at all. There's some people on FPL that literally have 2,000 elo on Faceit, but they're in FPL because they have played FPL before and they're friends with these people that played FPL or the admins that control FPL, and so they get given an FPL tag, and now they're in FPL indefinitely. So it's kind of tough because even me, like I made it through Elo, but I made ECL. I feel inclined to receive an FPL invite through that so that I could compete just like it has always been over the last few years. And they haven't even handed those out. I've got multiple teammates
Right.
that are just waiting to be able to play it, and they just haven't handed out those invites. Here, give me 1 second.
Is that a phone ringing?
It's a vacuum.
Oh.
Yeah, people be people be cleaning and stuff. Oh yeah, we'll do a little
Was
cat
that-
cat showcase here.
yeah. Let's see this guy.
So this is Luna. Also, Maine
That's
Coon.
not the big
Yeah,
one,
this one's very
but
skinny,
that's
but
a big
you
one.
stretch her out, bro. She's like 2.5 feet long. Like she's crazy big. So that's the white one. I mean, I'm not gonna make him uncomfortable. I'll just show the camera. He's laying down all nice, but we got good old named him Braxton after good old Swag Pierce there. He's a
Hey,
yep,
Swag,
yep,
our recent subscriber, my boy,
yep.
my new follower on Twitter.
It's actually funny. I went through like names when I picked him out because he was the first one I got. Um, and it was actually between Cobblestone and Braxton. So, well,
I like
yeah,
Braxton.
no, it's actually sick. But yeah,
You pick good names, Chad. You pick Chad names. I mean, you live up to the name of being a Chad. His son, Maverick.
yes, sir,
Are you are you fucking kidding me,
yes,
dude? That's a
sir.
power
I'm
name.
not even lying.
That's the few.
My woman and I, we went through every name in the book. Like, I'm not even kidding. Every name possibly you could think of, we went through the book, and Maverick was just one of those names that stuck out beyond any others. We didn't want to do some basic name, you know what I mean? So we wanted to get something exotic but not stupid like some of these rappers be naming their kids nowadays. So yeah, we found a good middle ground on that, I would say.
I think yeah, dude. I think it's a challenge to find a unique name for your child.
Yeah.
That, but yeah, I think you guys you do a good job of Braxton. Braxton is another solid name. That's like that's not one you normally hear, but that's a good name.
Yep.
You know. Um. Well, yeah, dude. I coming back to the role model thing as well. I think it's hard because like why do those people succeed right now? Well, because the viewers in our scene are attracted to that as
Yep.
well. Like that's the other hard part is I think that I think that it's gonna be a dark time for a little while longer for good decent role models in the scene, but I think that now more than ever is the like test of like how good these role models can be, because the more that people do try to do right by the scene and create opportunity, like look at what Tuna is doing with the like play Crossfire open, not the play Crossfire, I think it's paired up with them, but like the amped next gen cup or
Yep.
whatever
I
it is,
actually
right?
I met him at Knoxville. I've actually got his
Yeah, you need to go help out with that too. And I'm sitting here thinking about the fact that like, it shouldn't be up to the people who are still trying to make a name for themselves in the scene like yourself or Jared or the Lags or the Zomblers or whoever the fuck,
well,
right? Like these
his
smaller
name's
orgs.
his name's Andrew as well. But yeah, he
I
actually handed me his card. We went out to eat with the Take Flight boys after day one at
oh dude,
Knoxville.
he didn't hand me his card. I want his card. Rude ass.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
uh,
actually talked to him and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to be one of
those
those yeah, one of
coaches.
those coaches cuz
Mentors, yeah.
yeah, at
Well, that's
the
what I'm saying is like it shouldn't have to be up to you guys at like your level trying to still make it in practice and everything to be those people, but
right.
like at the same time, it takes anybody who to do it, right? Because while we feel that you guys shouldn't have to do it, that's how NRG and M80 feel right now about they shouldn't have to do it because they can barely compete with the rest of the world. So who are they to be trying to tell a region how to play Counter Strike, right?
That's
But
fair.
it's like what we need is more people daring to be a good role model
Yeah.
because right now the average thing to do is be a shithead online because that gets you engagement. Whether you're doing it as an act or whether you're doing it for real, either way is not helping our scene long term. I understand why it's happening, but like now is the time where it feels like it's punk rock to be a good person. Like so go out and do it, you little fuckers.
Yeah,
Stand up to the man.
I feel like with what I said, it would be a while before new role models would come around because different players would have to punch their way up to the scene, prove themselves, get to the top, and then they could start their statue of preaching. So when it comes to like the role models we need nowadays, in my eyes, it is these players that are at the top. outside of NRG, Wildcard, and M80 because they're busy and whatnot. We'll let that slide, but look at like the top 5 teams of UCL and whatnot. Like these are the type of players that everyone else is looking at, and those
And
are
need to be
yes,
setting an example as a
exact
professional.
exactly
Yes.
setting an example,
Agreed.
and so that's why I just bag on FPL because like I get an FPL and I'm like, all right, I already know what I'm expecting because I go on Twitter and I see FPL clips of people just trolling or someone just dies during a round and instantly is typing like, oh, you're having a life game, blah 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 blah. It's like, holy shit, man. Can we not just compliment each other? Can someone just hit a nice
Right.
shot
Why
on
is
you?
that hard?
Yeah, like someone just hit a nice shot on you, bro. Just say nice shot, and then you're off. And you're
Exactly.
talking your stream. You're like, man, who is this guy? This guy's fucking nuts. Like, just start doing that because it pisses me
Right.
off, man. I remember even I played a game. I plugged with Flom one time. I'm in like it was a long time ago, but I'm in like a 1v3, and I'm flicking around with the op, hitting like crazy wallbang shots. And after the round, Flom says to me, "Yo, you need to go buy a lottery ticket because those op shots are just ridiculously lucky." Like, come on, man. Are you serious, bro? This is the one guy that
Right.
should be a role model. Like, between Flom and Austin CS, I think Austin's doing a good job, I would say, as being a decent role model in the scene. But yeah, this is like little shit like that, bro. It's like, oh, really? Okay, let me just, oh yeah, fuck you and block you. I never want to talk to you again. Like, you want to have a good
Right.
a good fan base, Flom. Don't fucking shit on even your teammates in a pug who just clutched around. Instead of saying, yo, good shit, man, you're trying to like trash talk. Like just little
Right.
things like that. Just it makes no sense because just looking back at the scene, man, like back in the day when it was like Shroud and Tarek and even Mo, who everyone hated Mo and whatnot, but he was just
Right.
putting out content and making a lot of fun memories for people to watch. And that's something that is just not happening. You just don't see and like, oh, Reddit. Like, no. Reddit died when Shroud stopped playing Counter-Strike, man. It's just it is a very dull scene right now. It's very, very dull. It's the same players getting recycled. It's the same trash talk. The only up and comer is a proposed cheater, and no one's talking about anyone else. And it sucks because if you don't have the most insane stats or you're not connected via socials, no one's gonna talk about you. So it's a very, very boring time to be at the top of CS right now. Um, but it's also very exciting because of the new changes, the VRS,
Yes,
the
there's
Elite
hope,
Cups.
folks.
Yeah, there's definitely hope, but I'm not a massive fan with this whole VRS thing. I think it's good for
Yeah.
the players that are involved and have the opportunity to get some VRS that are competing in some cups or some lands that they know they'll have a chance at some. But for all the players that are still trying to up and come and climb, they've made it so hard for any of those teams. Like our team, we didn't play advanced this season because why? Oh,
Right.
you
Why?
get a free ticket to the bring your own computer Atlanta land that already has Big Clan going to it. Like, come on, man.
Right.
It's just
Big is
garbage.
gonna take that EPL spot.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Actually, somebody could beat Big. They're pretty dog shit right
No,
now,
I
but there's
agree with
still an
that.
EU team
Yeah, it's
that is gonna come over and show us how EU CS is played.
yep,
And
yep. I do think if I were to make one small change because the whole European teams coming to these frag events, it's cool. Like I could care like as a fan, sure, it'd be cool to see them in person, but I could care less that Snappy and frickin' Smooya show up to a LAN and whatnot. It's the opportunity to beat them, which is great. The chances of 2-0ing them are slim and actually beating them. Because like for VRS, you're gonna lose, you're not gonna get any points, and you're cooked. What I would say a change that needs to happen is when a team that is lower ranked than another team, if they lose but they still take a map off of that team, I think you should get VRS for that. Because if Take Flight plays an advanced team in a VRS Cup event, tournament, whatever, and we beat them, but they took a map off of us, I feel like that owes some points to that lower team, in my opinion. Because other than that, for you to get VRS, you have to have just some crazy upset life game where you somehow beat this team that you shouldn't have beat, and then because you managed to do that, you get a crazy amount of VRS points due to the rankings. And it's like, It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I also just want to bring up the point: how the hell does M80 going to the London Face It tournament, Tier 1 event, get less VRS points than NRG, who went to a 10K frag event and won a small LAN?
Yep.
It's so
It's
clapped.
that is the so that's I mean obviously as somebody who's getting more and more involved with Fragadelphia and like happy that I get to be a part of that team, I am very happy with what VRS is doing for them. And I think that it's good what VRS is doing for them.
Yeah.
But what you just said is accurate. That is a broken fucking system when you go to play the best teams in the world at a like multi-$100,000 LAN, but because you go out in the first round, you now have less VRS points than the team that decided to go mop the floor with a bunch of amateurs in a 10K.
Exactly.
No, 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 no,
Exactly.
no. That is not how that should work at
Yeah.
all. Should the frag event still like yes, I believe that the like what VRS is doing for like smaller grassroots lands like the Fisher, the Epic Land, the Fragadelphia,
Yep.
these things are gaining a lot from VRS, and that's a good thing because after being at 4 different frag events now, I realize like this is how you define hello. This is how you define who is actually good at Counter-Strike in the region, right?
Right.
Like this is how you really decide who's good. Not these online tournaments. There's too many questions in this day and age with that.
Yeah.
But there does need to be a system that does not the system needs to not punish the people who dare to go to a much bigger tournament than the 10K or the even 50K tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Like so there is a this let me offer this as like some hope maybe, and not that I'm right about anything ever, but like I have been right about this VRS thing. At the beginning of this year, when I first started doing these episodes, I talked about the fact that I think that VRS is going to absolutely disrupt the scene, and it is going to be a shaky, rocky, shitty start, maybe for several years. But it is going to balance out, and it is going to be very, very, very good for our scene long term.
Yep.
And I already feel like we're seeing where it is going to be good for our scene long term. And we stop these partner programs and having these teams just stuck at every tournament just because of their name or whatever, right? Like there's good and bad with it, but like it is doing exactly what I think it is supposed to be doing right now, which is be broken, figure it out while it's early on, and a year or two from now, it's just not gonna matter. Just like the whole fucking ESEA league, a year from now is not gonna matter. We're watching them scramble to try to maintain relevancy, and that's that. So you talked about. I like your idea of like if you win a map in a series like that, you get some VRS. I like that idea. I also talked to somebody. I think it was Nate the other day, or maybe it was Bones, but I think that the advanced playoffs should, as a whole, should be VRS
100%.
enabled. Like
100%.
that should be the entry point of VRS for a
Yep.
region, because then open through main doesn't get thrashed around and does still have importance of making it to
Yep.
advanced so that you can make it to advanced playoffs to start getting your VRS. But right now there is no real starting point other than Fragadelphia playoffs for VRS points
That's
and
what I'm
that or
saying is they're simply like if you're gonna go all in on this VRS thing for how tightly knit it is, you just need to make more opportunities to get VRS. Because if the only
right.
way you get VRS is to go to a LAN and play against ODIC, NRG, Wildcard, NIP, bro, all that happens is you get put into a bad seeding, bad bracket, and you're cooked. Like before we even got to Knoxville, we looked at the bracket and we're like, okay, if we somehow beat Marsborn, then we could play Chicken Coop, and then we'll go to the next round where we play NRG Wildcard Audic between that. But we would get one, if not two games of like HLTV VRS before we reach that point. Um, and then we almost 2-0'd Marsborn at that land, but we went down 1-2, and then we played Mythic next, and we beat them, and then we play NIP. And we knew how that was going to go before we showed up. So it's like, all right, in a perfect world, we somehow beat Marsborn, and then we go play Chicken Coop, and then we get to the next stage and see what happens. But we knew if we lost to Marsborn, we'd play Mythic and then play NIP, and more than likely our land ends there. And it's like, okay, we're an ECL team, and that's our view of the land, but put us into an advanced team that's really trying to just reach that VRS. They go to one of these lands, and they see who they have to play, and they're just cooked. They're just cooked. Unless they somehow put up a life game and they somehow 2-0 or 2-1 beat this team, and then they get VRS. But they spend all this money and travel and get to this land, which is the only place you could get VRS, and you're just going to get bagged on because there's these bigger teams, these bigger orgs that are sending their teams there that are trying to go win that land, and they're not going to let some measly advanced team step in their way. So I think the VRS obviously needs to be adjusted, but I think with where it's at now, the only thing that's going to make it better is more opportunities. If you make like these Dust 2 tournament qualies, I think they're great and all, but you're still allowing teams like Wildcard and NRG go into the qualifier that only lets one team go through, and there's 10 teams total that are playing in each qualifier. 4 of them are shitters, 2 of them are advanced teams, and then there's maybe one ECL team plus a wild card or an NRG. It's like, bro, like what are we doing here? Like, I understand letting some EU teams come play at some frag events, like that exposure is great for the scene. But when you're doing these semi like little qualifiers for these small tournaments, like these little online tournaments, and you're letting the best team in the fucking region allow to play into these open qualifiers, it's like, bro, you're not making it fun for the rest of these people that are trying to climb because you're climbing against proper competition, and then you reach a tier 1 team that just fucking knocks you out of the park and you're just gone. So it's kind of it's a little frustrating on the rule side of things on for the opportunities that we do have. It's just a little annoying. I like the format and the rule book. It's all not well thought through, I think.
Not right now, for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough, and I mean, you can even look at the fact that like the next ECL Cup literally only has 21 teams in it, and it's like, you guys, hello,
Yeah.
we need more opportunities for VRS. And I even, that's why I'm like slightly frustrated that off-season shenanigans like merged into Crossfire and like kind of set themselves back. Like they were on the cusp of being a VRS enabled tournament for at least giving something to like start out, even if it was just going to be grand finals. But they're set back, and I have no idea where Play Crossfire is on that, and I'm not a part of that anymore. I mean, yeah, I know the people that are involved with that are like trying to do stuff, but it's just it's hard in this region to get those VRS points, and I know why OSS merged. I'm not like mad about it or like salty by any means, but it's just like it is another setback for our community
Yeah, it's one
when
less tournament.
right, it's one less tournament where people were and it's sad too, because like ESEA League is struggling to maintain relevancy, and like that was a prime opportunity for OSS to kind of become the prime season shenanigans, not instead of off season
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of turmoil in our scene. Well, and man, Chad and I, for what beautifully pale and blonde people we are, and radiant lights with our faces, have painted a pretty bleak picture here. But I want to close out by saying I do really feel like there's hope. Again, going back to like what Tuna is doing, what the take flights are doing, what the lags are doing, what the tsunamis were doing, what the zomblers and all, like there are so many. Right now the spotlight is on those really bad actors in the scene, right? And they are getting to soak up the limelight
Yep.
and live life to their fullest. The rest of us out here that are here because we love this thing so much need to continue focusing on how much we love this thing, how much that unifies all of us, and just stay the path, eyes forward. Like, it will get better. Like, the more that we lean into the things that we know to be right, the more that good things happen. And I know that's true because it continues happening just in the last 3 years of me like actually applying myself in the scene. Yes, you see a lot more of the like inconsistencies and the bad shit, but you also see how many people like yourself or Nate or Bones or all the frag guys or all these people that go to the lands and are really the face of NACS. Like, you see how much those people have in passion
Yeah.
for this game, and so it is there. It is gonna get better, but yeah. Either way, dude, I know you got to go play some Magic the Gathering with your brother here. So I only have a couple more questions. I think this has been a stellar episode, and I've got the same last two questions I ask everybody here. The first one is where does your in-game name Crisp come from?
So back in the COD days, I was an absolute demon quickscoper. I used to play
Of
against
course you were.
all the Optic, Obey, Phase guys back in the day on like Prime Call of Duty. So I decided to make my own clan with me and my buddies. So we called it the Sniper Clan. Um, and back in the day, they made a change where you could like pay with points to switch your name. So it originally, like the whole crisp thing, actually came from like a Gears of War joke, with like a flamethrower. You burn someone, and someone said some crap about, oh, I just crisped that guy or some crap like that. So on the Call of Duty thing, when we made this clan, we decided to switch our names to Crisp. Is like the full thing was like, obviously, you gotta have those X's and V's in there on those game versions.
Yeah, baby.
It was like V, it was like capital V, Crisp, X, and then Killa with another V at the end. And then the next guy would be Killer, and then Killers, and then Killers with a Z. So I had a bunch of Crisp Killa, Crisp Killer, Crisp Killers. And so like my whole friend group in high school and whatnot, we had just a bunch of crisps pretty much. And so when I went and started playing CS, all my friends were still console guys. So instead of bringing my whole crisp Killa all the way over, I just went to crisp and just kept on repping that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're repping the old days. You love to see it. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, dude, you ready for your final question?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Okay. If you could talk to a younger version of yourself and offer them some advice, what would it be? It can be anything you want. It doesn't have to be Counter-Strike necessarily.
Oh, we're gonna make it Counter-Strike.
Okay,
Because
that.
if it's not, then it's invest in Bitcoin and Dogecoin like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for the Counter-Strike basis,
invest in Bitcoin. That's what I got.
I mean, come on now.
Buy two Bitcoin
yeah.
in 2008, and you will
Yep.
thank me later,
Let's keep
buddy.
it a buck, man. Dad, sell the house, buy as much as you can. You know what I mean? But no, for Counter-Strike, I don't know, man. It's tough because there's so many different departments within CS back when it was like up and coming on where you needed to invest your time in. I would say for me, if I were to give myself advice, it was just commit earlier than I did because I've played this game, like I've said, for 13 years, damn near, and I've had the skill to be where I'm at for a long time, and I just never tried to really implement that. So I'd say the advice to give myself was just commit sooner because you look back at all these pros in the day and they're like, oh, I started skipping school. I just stopped going. I knew I had it and I just gave it everything I had. Not to say I should have threw my life away and gone all in, but I could have done that. Like back in high school, I was an absolute monster, and I still feel like I'm in my prime now, just progressing uh surely every day. But if I would have just known, okay, I could go play League, I could try to climb the board, man, I would have been 16, 15 years old and advanced easily. Easily, but I didn't give it that shot until I was 18, 19 years old to actually try playing League. So yeah, I'd say that's the only advice is I should have just gave it a shot sooner in time.
I think that's good advice. Well, you're here now, and you're doing it now,
Yes, sir.
and we love you for it. And you're still young and hungry, and dude. You got to remember too. This is you know, it may get to be a struggle as you're a new father and everything, and you know, you've got a little one and a family and a job. But here, if you maintain at least where you're at, 5 years from now, that little one is going to be wanting to watch you play and wanting to watch what it's like to be in there in the
Oh yeah.
mix. So I think I think it'll be integrated into more like family lives. I don't know. I just don't think that I don't think this game is something I hear so many people talk about like, well, I'm 26 or 27. I got to hang up the mouse. And it's like, brother, I'm 35, dude, and I'm still dreaming about when I'm going to be playing at the major someday. Like, I'm never giving up.
Yeah.
When I'm 65 years old and like my body is shutting down and I can't move correctly anymore,
Yep.
then let's have that conversation. But I've been gaming since most of you guys, before any of you guys were born, and I just don't think that like all my friends at my age, they can still game just as hard as you youngsters. They
Oh
just
yeah.
never invested the time. So I think I think you are one of the bright hopes for NA, Chad, and
Appreciate
I
that.
appreciate you coming on the show and yapping with us. And here, the one last thing, by the way, this just like Hot Ones, this camera, this camera, this camera. If you want to let the people know what you got going on, what's next for Chad, where to find you, any shout outs or plugs you want to give before we bow out of here.
I'll just say, you know, like you said, I've been on Take Flight for a while now, and I have invested a good amount of my time and work into trying to make this team go as far as I can. And I've accomplished every goal that I've been writing down. You know, you and I talked at that Kansas land back when we were barely an advanced team, and you know, just off our discussions at the Airbnb, you're like, man, like I can see that you guys have what it takes. I hope I can see you hitting ECL at that point. And you made that tweet about if you're not a ECL player by the end of 2024, like I'm gonna lose my mind or whatever. And it's like I responded like, oh, don't you worry, I'll make that happen. And within 3 months, made that happen pretty much. So I know that there's only up from here, and we've just gone through absolute turmoil as for roster changes over the last couple months. So I feel like for the results we've been getting, we've been doing such a good job because we just went to Knoxville and we had a month of practice with our five. A month. Like, give us a little bit more time, and I guarantee you, me personally, I already think we are at the top of ECL. I think we are within a top five. I think there's a Marsborn, there's a Lag, there's a Blue Jays, and a Boss, and the Skin Rave or whatever nowadays. But besides,
Whoever the hell they
yeah,
are,
but
Junior and crew.
yeah, besides that, like they're like not bagging at any other team that's in ECL. I just do think that we have what it takes to become a top five and punch our way to the top and be a contender for all these other teams that are up there. So yeah, honestly, it's not much. Just absolutely excited to keep playing and keep moving forward. And we're not going to the Blocktober, but we'll be going to the Jersey Land in November, and that is about a month and a half away, and we're gonna come in flaming hot. And we're gonna tear shit up.
I like that. We'll see if I'm at the Jersey one. It'll be interesting being at this block.
That's
I'm
gonna
very
be a
excited to
heater.
be at the
That's
block.
gonna be a
It's
heater.
gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of fun
Yeah,
for host Big D to wander around and do some shenanigans with all those teams there.
yeah.
But it will be weird not having all the NA hometown heroes that I'm used to seeing at LAN over this last year. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be at Frag Jersey, but I am pretty positive I am moving to Jersey at the end of the year, like right after that, so I
That's
won't
the
miss
spot to be.
any.
That's the spot to be, man.
That's the spot. That's the spot to be, dude. And no more crying about my 70 ping to Chicago from the West Coast, baby.
Yep.
That's really what I want from moving to the East
Dude,
Coast.
that's good stuff though. I hate it when you play a pug and you've got like 40 ping, and this guy that's just tearing your head off has two, one.
Dude,
Oh,
I am in southern Arizona, and the lowest ping I can get on a Faces server is 50 ping.
wow.
That's the lowest, unless I somehow miraculously get a San Jose server, which for fucking get it that's not
Are
happening
you in
ever.
you in Tucson or what part?
I'm in Tucson,
Nice. Yeah, I have a bunch of family in Phoenix Mesa area, so I'm down
dude.
there all the time.
Well, fucking hit me up, dude. Where have you been? No, dude, I'm gonna miss the desert. I really like it here.
Yeah.
I love this place. There's been it's been a big healing and growth and spiritual like maturity journey for me in the last 7 years. But
Nice.
I'm ready to go chase my dreams as a counter
Go
striker
all in,
up in
man,
the Northeast,
because
baby.
honestly, I have a lot
I'll
of
be living next to All In Game.
yeah, I have a lot of love for you, man. Ever since I first met you and the things that you're doing and bringing to the community, you're just another pinnacle of a role model that we just fucking need everywhere across the scene, not only just in casting, commentating, and content creating, but we need the players to step up and be that player that is going to make all the puggers, all the random puggers look up and be like, "Oh, that guy's sick." Like I'd want to try to
I want to
reach
be
that.
that
Yeah,
guy.
I just don't. I'm not feeling that right now in the community because, sure, I'm an ECL IGL captain with zero role models. I'm not looking up to nobody. There's no one. I think the only person. I mean, going to Knoxville, I ran into Stanislaw because he actually lives 10 minutes away from me in Minneapolis. So at the airport, we were chopping it up a ton, and boom, I have a role model now, I would say, because
Yeah, that's a role model.
100%,
That is a role model.
100%, because I talked to him.
Nitro
Yes,
is a role
exactly,
model.
but those are the only two we got.
Those are the only two we got right
So
now.
yeah, it was nice. I talked to him, and we connected and added each other on Twitter, and we've been messaging back and forth on Twitter and whatnot, talking about just Counter-Strike or IGL standpoints and views of the game and whatnot, and that is what we need. We need shit like that. So
Yeah, I love that. Well, and shout out Stanislaw. If you ever watch this, I'm sorry for acting like do you know what I did? I acted like such a weirdo when I met him. I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm Big D. We played a pug like 2 months ago," and he's like, "Yeah, I remember." And I was like, "You called me Small D," and he's like, "Yeah, it was just a joke," and he walked away. I was like, "Oh no, it was fine, dude. It was." Dude, it was just one of the most cringy things I could have done. And then I sat on the couch and like interviewed him, so hopefully thought I was less of a weirdo once I actually talked to him. But yeah, no, I love that guy. I love what he stands for. I love his work ethic and approach to the game. People like him and Nitro, and I want to shout out as well Hext and Lake as like young players. Those are young role models that people should be looking up to. There is a reason that professional orgs have invested in those two players because as young players, because they act professional.
Yep.
Yes, you see them banter at LAN. It is just banter though in the game on the server. They, other than that, are approachable, kind, warm people in every other respect. So
100%.
and consummate professionals. So they do exist. We just need to be shining a light on them. And yeah, you said it, not me, but Big D's a role model too. So we love to hear that.
Yes, sir.
All right, dude. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy Magic the Gathering with your brother. Is it your brother or brother-in-law?
Brother, I'll flex the jerseys from the last few lands.
Oh
here.
yeah, dude.
I
want one of those purple jerseys.
This is hot. This was the Kansas one.
That's my favorite Take Flight jersey.
That one was the Philly land in the corner, and then obviously the overly pink one was for Windsor and for Knoxville. And this was my first one. This was good old Jimmy CS here. Control CS, he handcrafted some of these, even back for our main team back in the day, just for fun. But you know, we'd have those for showing up to LAN and playing with friends and whatnot. But yeah, man, I strive to fill this wall with more jerseys, and maybe not under the Take Flight banner, but I'm under contract, so that won't change anytime soon.
Well, yeah. And shout out Take Flight. We love you, Saban and Nello.
Big shout out Take Flight. Those guys are best in the scene as for org owners, hands down.
Yeah, dude. I love those guys. They're fantastic. All right, brother. Well, thank you all for watching as well. That is it. Okay. And that, oh my.